Hello guys, I'm Kiri, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna go back 110 years ago to see what was to have one of the oldest car brand in the world, Fiat. The car in front of us is a 1913 Fiat 1215, or well known back on the day as a Fiat Tipo 0. Was in production only for 3 years, from 1912 to 1915. For that time, Fiat managed to build just over 2000 cars. Roughly the same number like a Lamborghini Countach, but today the Fiat Zero is much more rare because not that many survived. Actually, the number of the cars survived today is very small. So we have the chance to see this beautiful, almost 110 years old Fiat car in the National Motor Museum, Montague in UK. The car is almost original, like most of the cars in this museum, except of course the paint, and is in working order. Now, very interesting fact about the model 1215 is that this was the first Fiat to be produced in large numbers, and was specifically aimed at the middle class people. You know, on that time, early 20th century, to have a car was something very special and luxury. Just rich people could afford to buy, but thanks to Henry Ford, who put the cars into a conveyor for mass production, they became more affordable, and not only the rich people had the chance to buy one. Fiat Zero, or 1215, was one of the first cars in Europe to be produced in large scale, but still very far from Ford Model T. Fiat offered the car only with one body style, 4-seat open tourer, but they were supplying a chassis as well to different coach builders for custom bodies, such as this 2-seater sporty version made by Farina. Of course, most of the over 2000 cars were with the standard 4-seater body, because they were cheaper, and just few being finished in this very cool and sporty design. They were more expensive, like the car in front of us, originally built in 1913 with a price tag 375 British pounds. The normal 4-seater was approximately 350 British pounds, or 8,000 Italian lira back on the day, and then they reduced the price to 6,900 Italian lira. Just for example, we will mention that approximately the same time Bugatti Type 15 in 1910 cost 350 British pounds, and then 1914 Rolls-Royce 4050 Alpine Eagle, the sporty version of the Silver Ghost, cost 985 British pounds. So was time when Fiat was approximately the same price as a Bugatti, and 2.5 times cheaper than Rolls-Royce. Imagine today Bugatti to be the same price as a Fiat. Will be nice. So Fiat 1215 was available only as a convertible, no matter 2 or 4 seats. But everything was hand-built and nicely made. If you just have a closer look at the car, definitely you will see the craftsmanship in every single detail and element. We said earlier, this body was made by Farina. Yes, the same Farina who later will become a Pininfarina. Giovanni Battista Farina was a coach builder and designer, of course, with his great ideas and vision about how the car will look and what benefits the owner is gonna have. Fiat Zero was the predecessor of the very popular as well Fiat Brevetti, but Zero was the right car in the right time. The only engine fitted into the Fiat Zero was the well-known and reliable 4-cylinder inline 1.9 liter, but maybe probably better to say 1.8 liter because it was 1846 cc and producing 19 horsepower at 2000 rpm. Was longitudinally mounted in the front of the car, but the car was rear-wheel drive. 4-speed manual transmission was engaged to the engine. Imagine this was 1912. Fiat was a very advanced vehicle with this 4-speed gearbox, something ahead of many other car brands. Even up to 1980s, many car manufacturers were using 4-speed gearbox pattern. One single carburetor was feeding the engine with fuel, gasoline of course, and 68 Newton meters of torque was available with this engine. The maximum speed was phenomenal for the time, 63 km per hour or 39 miles per hour. We need to mention again, we're talking about 110 years ago, so this is 110 years old car. Very modern car with brakes on each four corners, drums front and rear. Let's mention again, on that time most of the cars were using brakes only on the rear wheels, but Fiat on the four wheels. Very, very cool. Was comfortable car for any road, especially with the 2 meter and 644 millimeters wheelbase, the same as the today's four-door luxury cars. 3 meter 660 millimeters long, 1 meter 450 millimeters wide, and just 1.8 meter high. The weight fully loaded 1,200 kilograms, unloaded approximately 900 kilograms. So very solid materials being used to build this proper reliable car from 1912. You can see the chassis, the front axle, the wheels, the interior, everything looks very, very solid and beautiful. This car was built in Turin, in Italy, in the original Fiat factory, the very, very original factory. Many people knows what actually Fiat mean. Fabbrica Italiana Automobili Turin, or short Fiat. We said the car was in production till 1915, but they stopped to produce the model because the factory was converted into a military machine production. For sure they could build much more, but because of the war they stopped the production. Was very economical car as well, like most of the Fiat cars. The fuel consumption was 23 miles per gallon or 12 liters per 100 kilometers. Not bad for the time. In 2017, Bonhams sold one Fiat Tipo 0 or 1215 for 40,250 euro. But today for sure the price is going to be up, 50, 60, 70, maybe more. It's a really very beautiful car, for sure thanks to Battista Pininfarina. Many of us associated him, Battista Pininfarina, only with Ferrari cars. Yeah, it's true. Pininfarina is making the design of the most Ferrari cars, but he worked even before Ferrari. There is not electric starter on this car. You have to crank the engine manually. But all the other electrics was available in the end of the production, so 1914, 1915. Not window wiper as well, so you need to be very careful when it's raining. Obviously no indicators on that time, wasn't necessarily, actually no one was using. These red color wheels, so it's very nice to the blue color of the car. The tires are typical for the time and they're actually made in England. Dunlop, by the way, Dunlop is the first tire manufacturer to make tires on air. You can see here the emblem on the grille on the front. Was time when the cars were really very, very solid, made from real materials, and here is no exception. Today Fiat went little bit out of this way, using very cheap materials to make the cars. Even some of the cars are not made in Turin or Italy, but this is just to keep the price down, to be one of the best seller in Europe. So just have a look, just have a closer look actually of this beautiful car with the red wheels and blue color. It's right-hand drive. On that time all the cars actually were right-hand drive, and this is just amazing design. Very, very early designs of this amazing maestro Battista Pininfarina, who designed this beautiful two-seater sporty version of Fiat Tipo 0 or Fiat 1215. So this is with English registration number, and you can see here the manual way how to start the engine and the red color of the wheels. The front axle is very solid, the springs on the front as well, they're beautifully made, the lights, everything is absolutely beautifully made, and the car actually is very shiny. We're gonna mention again, everything is real materials, everything is very solid and very beautifully made. The tires Dunlop, we're gonna mention again, they're one of the first, actually the first tire to produce tires on air. The wheel cap, you can see on the middle, there is Fiat, signed Fiat with 5 bolts. Absolutely beautifully made car. The windscreen, there is no wiper, so we mentioned you need to be very careful when you're driving on when it's raining. The interior is beautiful as well, so all the car is just spectacular. Just over 2000, we're gonna mention again, were made of this beautiful model Fiat 1215 or Tipo 0, but today survived just few of them, and is much more rarer than Lamborghini Countach. And you can see these cars actually only in museum, because they are museum pieces. Here you can see on the bonnet they're louvers, so the hot air can escape from the engine bay to keep the temperature of the engine normal. And also here the gear lever is outside of the cabin. On that time that was normal, and the brakes, the rear brakes next to the gear lever. 4-speed manual gearbox. Let's mention again, this is something very special. Very beautifully made car, very beautiful. Every single corner, every single detail of the car is beautifully made, and it's just amazing. So guys, I hope you liked the video about this Fiat 1215 or Tipo 0, which was in production between 1912 and 1915. This particular car is 1913. If you like, please subscribe my channel, and see you next time guys. Bye.